Have you ever heard me say that I make exercise videos for kids of all ability levels? Well, I do. And I do it because exercise is important for all kids and teens. So, if you want to know how and why, stick around. Hey guys, and welcome back to Pediatric Therapy Essentials. My name is Dr. Heather Sossaman, and I'm a pediatric physical therapist. And here on my channel, I create both educational videos that help us break down complex medical terms and ideas into language we can all understand, as well as movement videos that encourage activity, exercise, and development for kids of all ability levels. Now, if you find value in today's video, I would really appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to this channel by hitting the button just below the video. In one of my recent videos, we talked about why exercise is so important for kids and teens, and I gave you the daily recommended amounts of exercise as stated by the American Academy of Pediatrics. Now, if you'd like to hear the full video and all the detailed information, I will leave a link to it up here as well as in the description box. But the basics are this. In order to have a healthy body, our cardiovascular system, our bones and our joints and our brains, as well as to improve our mood, focus, and attention, daily exercise is incredibly important. And according to the Academy of Pediatrics, infants need about 30 minutes of tummy time spread out throughout their day. Kids age 3 to 5 need 3 hours of exercise every day. That's about 15 minutes every hour. And then for our kids over the age of 6, the Academy recommends about 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity almost every day of the week. Now, these are the exercise basics. And the question is, does this information change if a child has a physical impairment or physical disability? And the answer is no. Every child, regardless of ability level, needs to exercise and move every single day. And as a physical therapist, it is my job and my joy to help kids of all ability levels exercise and move around in a way that makes them happy and healthy. Now, the important thing to remember, as I said in my last video, is that in order to get all of the exercise that's recommended throughout our day, we don't have to do it all at once. In fact, I find it's better for both our mental health and for developing habits and consistency to sprinkle out that exercise throughout the day. So let's take a look at some simple ways that we can provide exercise opportunities for our kids with physical disabilities. Now, I'm gonna run through these ideas pretty quickly, so remember, if you head over to my website, pediatrictherapyessentials.com, there will be a blog post that goes along with today's video that gives you all of these ideas. So let's start off with some activity ideas for kids that use walkers and crutches as their primary means of mobility. The first and most obvious form of exercise is simply walking. Because it takes a little bit more physical energy and a little more strength to walk using a walker or crutches, the act of walking in itself is a great way to get exercise. And if you want to make it a little more difficult, you can try walking uphill, downhill, or even over an uneven surface like the grass. Number 2, adaptive bikes are a great way to get some cardiovascular exercise as well as improve strength in your trunk and lower extremities. And there's all kinds of adaptive bikes out there that can let kids ride regardless of their ability level. Number 3, swimming. I love swimming. A swimming pool is a great place to have gravity be eliminated. So kids that might not be able to move against gravity because of the limitations of their body find freedom in the swimming pool. And the bonus for me as a PT is that the water acts as a resistive force, constantly giving you resistance as you move, helping you get stronger. Next, try exercising at the kitchen counter. So just because you use a walker or crutches doesn't mean you can't exercise in the standing position. If you use a surface like the kitchen counter, you can do things like toe raises, you can do leg lifts to the side or leg lifts to the back, you can practice walking sideways. All of these are great activities to improve the strength in your legs, and you can do it in the standing position. Next on my list is the tall or half kneeling position. So in these positions, you're getting a lot of work on your lower trunk and your hips and your leg muscles. And the best thing is you can get in one of these positions and play a card game or play a board game with a friend or family member and get stronger at the same time. Next on my list is doing exercise in the sitting position. So if balancing while you're standing can be a challenge for you, then it might be difficult to work on things like arm, upper chest, upper trunk strength in the standing position because your arms are occupied holding your body up. So I recommend doing a workout in the sitting position. And believe it or not, you can get an incredibly intense workout in the sitting position. Now, I've said this before, I have tons of seated workout videos and I will link the playlist right up here, but we have all kinds of strengthening, cardiovascular, yoga, coordination, hand exercises, everything available to you in the sitting position. So if that interests you, be sure to check that playlist out. So my next group of ideas is for my friends that use wheelchairs as their primary means of mobility. The first activity is walking. So even if your mobility is limited, there are tons of devices out there that can help you get up, put some weight on your feet, and move around. Some of the students that I work with really enjoy walking in the Riften Pacer Gait Trainer, and we use this during adaptive PE to play games with our peers. Next on my list is the same as the previous group, adaptive bikes and swimming. Both of these activities are a great way to strengthen our muscles and improve our cardiovascular endurance. Next on my list is floor activities. So if your child or teen is comfortable getting out on the floor, this is a great place to get some exercise. So I've had kids that enjoy rolling back and forth across the room, especially when I start a timer and I see how fast they can do it. They love to get from one end to the mat to the other, faster and faster each time and beat their own record. It's also a great place to stretch your body out and get some movement in your joints. And if you can handle it, trying to get on your belly in the prone position, either propped up on your arms or on your extended arms, is a really great way to work on neck, shoulder, and upper trunk strengthening. So in these positions, you can play a board game, you can play a card game, you can even use this as your screen time. And last is seated exercise. Again, you can get a really great workout in the sitting position, whether you're working on cardiovascular or muscle strength, or you're trying to get a little more flexible. And the great thing about seated exercise, especially if you do it in your wheelchair, is it helps you improve your in-chair skills. So that's your ability to shift your weight, get comfortable, and help with transfers in and out of the chair. So the more you learn to move around and do things in your chair, the more independent you're going to be. So the last group of kids I want to talk about is the kids that have a lot of difficulty moving no matter what position they're in. And I know trying to exercise can be frustrating for the child as well as the caregiver. So I do want to take a minute to talk about some simple ways to adapt all these ideas that we've talked about to your child's level. And the first and foremost is to slow things down. So if you're watching a YouTube video that you think is really fun, but the exercises are moving too quickly, remember that you can slow the YouTube video down by going to the cog wheel at the bottom of the video and choosing your playback speed. Now, when you do that, the music sounds a little bit crazy and wonky. So usually what I do is I mute the video itself and turn on some fun music in the background. Next, remember that if you're watching somebody in the seated position or standing doing exercises with their arms, you can always adapt them to a flat surface. So if a person is raising the roof and raising their hands over their head, you can put your hands on your tray and push back and forth. If they're doing a rainbow move, like we call it on my channel, where they're taking their arms and going up and over their head, again, put them on your tray and move your arms side to side. As long as you're moving and challenging yourself, that's all that matters. Next is free dancing. So I think I free dance in just about every therapy session that I do. I let the kids pick the music, we turn it on, and I tell them to move in any way that they want to, as long as they're moving. I don't care what it looks like, I don't care how they're doing it, as long as they're independently trying to move their body. And last but not least, we can, as caregivers, teachers, parents, therapists, give assistance to a child. So we can give them what we call hand-over-hand assistance, where we hold their hands and help them move. And in some cases, that may be necessary. But I do encourage you to find some sort of activity that allows a child to move themselves. The ability to have control over your own body and move it in whatever way possible is empowering, and it creates independence within the child. All right, guys, those are my ideas for fun and easy ways to help kids that might have a little bit of trouble moving get some exercise into their day. Now remember, if you missed any of these activities and you want to go back and look at the ideas again, there will be a full blog post on my website, pediatrictherapyessentials.com, that you can check out for some more ideas. And if you have some great ideas for fun activities to help kids get moving, please be sure to put them in the comment section down below so we can all hear about them. You guys are incredibly creative, and I can't wait to hear the ideas that you have. And last but not least, don't forget to check out my movement videos on the channel. I will leave links to them down in the description box, but I have seated workouts, standing workouts, freeze dances, scavenger hunts, all kinds of fun activities to help kids get moving. Well, I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful week, and I will look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Bye!